How long?
Yes.
How long that buyer is in Mali using KMR? How long?
He has been there for some time. He has been buying some gold for some time now. I think some months.
A month? And how come he cannot find the supplier?
He already found some suppliers. He bought, so he wants to buy more.
Because Mali is the third largest gold producer in West Africa. I know KMR. KMR is an Italian group of company.
Yeah, that's why he's trusting KMR, because he has bought gold and he has done testing there already.
Yeah, because KMR can refine from Doré bar to gold bullion. Yeah. But the seller of mine would not deal KMR. He will deal the buyer, but yeah, the gold has to be assay first to DNGM. And then when he look at the assay report, he pay, and then he can bring it to the KMR, because I called KMR a few years back. This is what the KMR was telling me, because I introduced myself that I'm a seller's mandate, and I need to know what is their terms and condition. The KMR will only receive the gold when the seller show their export license and mining license, because most of the gold in Mali, some are stolen, some are gold from Gaddafi. So KMR are very extra careful. So the seller, my seller would not bring gold to KMR because KMR is very strict.
Yeah, so the buyer has been working with KMR for some time now.
Well, he has an account then. He has an account.
Yes.
He has an account to KMR.
Yeah. Yeah, and he wants to pay the money in the bank to bank with the Malian currency.
Yeah, we can do that, but he has to have a contract first, because we don't know him, and we don't deal buyer on the ground. We don't. We need to know.
That's why I'm saying that your seller can go and meet him.
Well, my seller would not know. I have to screen the buyer, because I am the mandate of the seller. I cannot just tell my seller to come and see the stranger. No, we cannot. My seller is very hard to deal with. He wouldn't. My seller has an office, so I have to talk to the buyer. What is his name?
I can arrange that. I can arrange that if the seller has agreed to go to do everything at KMR, the buyer will not have a problem of meeting him and talk.
No, my seller's instruction is like this, Michael. The buyer will have a contract, how many quantity he needs. The gold has to be assayed to DNGM first. Then he can bring that to KMR. There's no problem. He has to pay the gold first.
Do that. I think he can do the refinery at the
DNGM, yeah.
By himself.
Yeah.
By himself. The seller can do it by himself, right?
Well, no, the buyer and the seller has to be there at the DNGM. Yeah.
The buyer wants the test to be done at KMR while the seller is there. All of them.
No, my seller is not buying the terms of the buyer. He's not buying. My seller's instruction is very clear. Wilhelmina, we do business. The buyer has to have a contract on how many kilos, and we have to assay the gold to DNGM. When the gold will be getting assay, then he pay. We will provide the paperwork. Then the buyer can bring it to KMR and do the testing again, because we have to know the buyer what he is going to use, because gold has many uses. Is he going to make it to refine into gold bullion or what? We cannot just let my seller.
No,
yeah.
That one is his business. That is his own business.
No, we have to know, because the gold will shrink. No, that is our business to know. Because if there is a discrepancy, we have to know. That is why we have to ask the gold first to the DNGM. Because I'm going to ask the buyer, are you making into gold bullion? Yes. Then my seller can add more gram, because the gold will shrink. I know, KMR was telling me, if the gold Doré bar will be assay, re-assay and make into gold bullion, yes, they're gonna remove the chemical element. So it is our business to know the buyer. You cannot just say that it's none of our business. It is our business to sell it to him. It is our business to know how we can help him.
Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah, you can do that, yeah. But then whatever he wants to talk about, I don't know what he wants to do.
Well,
I think he will export it.
Yeah? Go ahead.
He will export it by himself, pay his own taxes,
No, we don't. Our price is premium. We don't ask the buyer to pay taxes. The seller is responsible paying taxes. Yeah. You know how much our selling price? Less 5%.
So what's the seller's procedure? Tell me.
5% less based on the world market. It's $45,000 per kilo. And your buyer is looking for cheap price. That is the reason why. That is the reason why.
But what's the procedure for your seller?
The procedure is I already given you. It's online. You've been reading, Mike. You should know that. If you're a buyer's mandate, Mike, may I advise you properly? Most of you guys are floating around. You have to read because I'm the only person provided all the procedure. Whether you buy gold in Mali, Conakry, Sierra Leone, procedure exactly the same. There's no difference.
Yeah.
But you guys, you have to read because I am not here to teach. I already given free information. Yeah. But if you don't read, you will never close the deal. Believe me.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Your seller wants.
Yeah, go ahead.
Your seller wants to go to DNGM.
The gold has to be inspected in the office. My seller has an office. How many quantity? Most of the foreigners are scared to come to the office. Why are they gonna scared for? I've been to Africa. I was not been scared with my seller. I don't know why.
They feel they're gonna get scammed.
No, you would not be scammed. The real seller would not scam you. Only fake seller will scam you. Yeah. My seller cannot afford to lose his license. Why he gonna scam for? My seller owned the concession. He produced gold. Why he gonna scam for? Only fake seller will scam the buyer. Yes, especially if you're asking cheap price. Yes, I can guarantee you that.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That they should first meet before
we don't meet the buyer. I am the mandate. I am the extension. I am going to interview the buyer before I'm going to advise my seller to meet the buyer. My seller is very hard to deal with. He's not a bigger. My seller is not hungry. Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with my buyer. My buyer doesn't want.
Well, I wish him good luck. He can buy that in KMR. KMR is selling gold 2%. Why not buy to KMR?
No, just tell him to stick to that.
Yeah, tell him to stick to KMR, and KMR will charge him maybe 2 or 3%. It's already refined. KMR will sell him already refined. It's already gold bullion. KMR is mining as well, and KMR is also buying gold. That is business. They are refining gold and then deliver it to Central Bank of Italy because they are there. They are the investors. KMR is the investors in that country. They create employment. The government give the KMR tax incentive. That is business.
Okay. I will tell him that. I will inform him.
Yeah, you inform your buyer that you were talking to Wilhelmina. I'm the extension. I have the authority to interview the buyer.
Okay.
And we don't entertain Mike. So what a waste of time. I don't send my seller to see the buyer because we don't entertain buyer with no invitation at all. We don't.
Okay.
I'm sorry we cannot help your buyer, and unfortunate. May I explain to you, Mike? There are 3 refineries in Mali: DNGM, Marina, and KMR. Marina and KMR are big refinery. They are there to create business. It's a partnership, local people and the foreigner. KMR is a Chinese. Partner with them from Mali. Their partner is a local guy. So it is a competition.
All right. Thank you for the information. I didn't know a lot of this information. Thank you.
I done my research and I called the Mike. I know Jitro. I talked to Jitro. I know KMR very much. So they are very big refinery. But according to the director, they will only entertain when the seller provide information because some of the gold are stolen.
Oh yeah. That's true.
Some are gold are stolen, and KMR cannot afford to lose their license. So now I'm telling you,
Alright.
I'm telling you the truth. KMR says to me,
Yeah.
some of the gold
Yeah.
in Mali are illegally and they don't have a license.
License. They have no license. Yes.
No, the local seller.
Uganda.
Yeah. That's why you're gonna be scammed because they're selling cheap price. Then the owner of the gold will sell you and they cannot provide you paperwork. They're gonna arrest you.
Yeah, it's true.
My seller, when the buyer buy gold from us, my seller will provide all paperwork because KMR would see where the gold coming from.
Okay, that's really nice.
Yeah. So I hope I explain next time, Mike. Read because everything is online.
Yeah. I'll read it. I'll read it. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Today is Sunday. The time is 6:45. I just finished having a conference and the buyer's mandate. And he has a buyer in Mali. I turn it down. We cannot turn a deal buyer already on the ground. We need to know the name of the buyer, and we don't come to the buyer. My seller has an office. The buyer would come when he sent a letter of intent to buy because we don't know and we don't deal ghost buyer at all. This is $1 million. This is a very dangerous business. A minute that the buyer cutting corner, we start to wonder. We don't do business when the buyer is already on the ground, meaning to say he was been window shopping. Wilhelmina is the one who brought this online. Our procedure is online. If you don't read, to me, you are not a buyer. If you have an account to KMR, that is fine. That is business. You apply for the account. You want to assay the gold to KMR, there's no problem. But our terms and conditions has to be followed. You buy gold from us, let us assay the gold to DNGM first. Because we don't know what are you going to use. If you're going to buy to make into 99.99, yes, because I know KMR. The gold will shrink. So I have to tell my seller to give an extra gram if you're going to make into gold volume, but our price is premium. We are not selling cheap price here. If you're going to buy to make into jewelry, you need 1,000 gram. But if you're going to refine it into 99.99, we will give you extra gram. But the extra gram is money. I'll go to the world market on how much our selling price because the price of gold it changed varies. Just a moment. I'm going to go to gold rate Mali. Okay, gold rate Bamako Mali now on 22 carats our selling price 44,470 on 22 carats. On 24 carat is 48,510. That is already refined. On 21 carats is 42,450. On 18 carats, the price is 36.38. So if the buyer is looking for 36,000 per kilo, then he's buying 18 carats. So then you have a problem because in Mali, all the gold are 23 carats. Yeah. Bajid, good evening. Thank you for watching. I just finished talking to a buyer's mandate. Thank you, Joycey. Thank you, Karangwa. Karongwi sons, thank you for watching. Joycey, good morning, good evening. Thank you for watching. I just finished talking to Mike. And he was being scammed in Ghana, and he's a buyer's mandate. He's from Uganda. And he has a buyer in Conakry, Guinea. I know, in Mali. And I turn it down because we don't deal buyers already on the ground. As you know, our policy is really very strict. Now, to make it good information for you guys, whoever you are, you're watching on this live video. In Mali, there are 3 refineries. DNGM is a government refinery. Marina is a private refinery. KMR is a private refinery. Now, I'll give you the background of this Tor refinery because I done my research. KMR came to Mali 2015. They are big investors of the country. That is normal. Mali government welcome foreign investors. And their refinery, KMR, is 500 meters away from International Airport. It's huge. They can refine gold from Doribar to gold bullion. That is the reason why everybody come to Mali, because Mali is the third largest gold producer in West Africa. It's not saturated yet, but there are so many gold are stolen. Some gold coming from Gaddafi. So you need to be careful as well. Now my seller has a mining license and export license, but he would not barge in. He wouldn't. So I just explained it to Mike that his buyer has an account to KMR. That's fine. That is business. But as I've said to Mike a while ago, Josie, you were not around. Majid, you were not around during my conversation. And Kirunwa Sons, you were not around. So this is for everyone, whether you're a seller or a buyer's mandate or a buyer. You need to follow the golden rules of the country. Now, there's no such person who explained like this, like Wilhelmina. She did, because I done my research in order for the buyer not to be scammed when he arrived in Africa. Now, my extra service online is free, but when I travel, my extra service is no longer for free. Now, if you are buying gold in KMR or Marina, you have an account in Marina, that is fine. You have been paying the application for refinery account, which is 1,600. That is normal. You have to use their facility. Of course, that refinery, they will charge you. Now, DNGM, all the local miner, they bring the gold to DNGM because it's a government. It's the Department of Mines. So they're going to ask you the gold. The buyer is going to pay $100 per kilo. So when the seller brought the gold to DNGM, you will be given an assay report. You pay for the $100 per kilo. If you want to buy 50 kilos, figure out $1,100 times 50. I'm going to use my calculator. $100 times 50. That is $5,000. So you have to prepare your $5,000 if you want to buy 50 kilos. If you want to buy 20 kilos, $100 times 10 kilos, you prepare $1,000. So you have to pay that to the NGM. If you're going to use KMR, they charge $150 to re-smelt it. So it's up to you, because I called KMR. This live video is really very, very good information, guys. Now, if you are on the ground, you can buy the 2 KMR 2%. You can buy Marina 2%, because Marina, they already refined the gold. If you can see the gold bullion that I showed as a comparison from Doribar to gold bullion, that gold bullion from Mali coming from Marina. It's already refined 2%. You are buying Doribar, owned by my seller. He produced that in his concession and exported. And then I do the marketing for the seller. So you cannot just say, well, I mean, I have the buyer there on the ground. No, we don't do that. I have to know who is the buyer. You never know that buyer is a crook, like Kirungwi Sons. He met 2 foreigners in Nairobi. And these 2 foreigners are from South Africa. They are cheater. They are not buyer. This is what Kirungwi Sons was telling me yesterday. And he was being deceived by the broker. So, Mr. Broker, if you're watching me, you pay attention and you have to read. Because no such person who provide the procedure. I said to Mike, you read. And he asked me the procedure. My gosh, the procedure is every video. If you are not reading to me, you are not a buyer. You are not doing your job, Mr. If you are a broker, you are not. If you are a buyer's mandate, you do your job. You read, you educate your buyer. You cannot just carried away by your buyer that I am a buyer. I would not believe that he is a buyer unless I interview the buyer. Very simple. I don't know why you people, I have been explaining on video to video until now. You guys have no idea. So better get out on this business. If you're buyer's mandate, you have to learn faster. You know, when I was in real estate here in Brisbane, I have a license as a real estate agent. My principal never teach me. They just give me big, thick book to follow. Sample for the contract, sample for the bank, and I read. But you guys, you're all idiot. Excuse my language. Brokers are idiot. Because you are online, you're excited. Oh, I'm gonna get the bloody fucking commission. Excuse my language. Sometimes it irritates me. I don't need brokers at all. You read, if you meet the criteria, you get the gold. If you don't, get out, because we are not interested. Your buyer is buying $1 million worth of gold. This is not banana, or this is not the bread. To mine gold is not easy. My seller lost a worker last week because of the contamination of mercury. You guys are sitting down in your ass. Bring the gold to Kmart. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. We have gold in Mali, Conakry, Sierra Leone. Exactly the same the procedure. There is no difference. You buy plus tax. You pay the gold plus tax. Now, because I convinced my seller to waive the tax, you are not paying taxes, you pay for the gold. You have to pay the gold. Bank to bank because of money laundering and money laundering. You cannot just launder the gold. You're going to be in trouble. There are so many African small seller. They want to cut corner. Mr. Seller, you're a small trader. Don't cut corner. Don't believe on buyers. If the buyer say, I will buy gold, pay taxes, he doesn't have the money. Why he's going to pay taxes? How about paying the gold? That's normal. You have to pay taxes. That's normal. You pay for the product plus tax. Why are you going to pay tax? And how about paying the gold? You pay the gold plus tax. 7.5 plus. And then you need to insure the gold when the gold leaves the country of origin. Then you have to pay the shipping cost. 1% on shipping cost, 1% of the insurance, 2% on the total sale value. How many times I did explain? I don't know why you people have no idea. Maybe you didn't go to school. Because to me, I went to school. I never asked question. I never ask question to my professor. I listen, I write it down, I digest it into my brain. But you guys, but because we are on social media, oh, I'm excited. Oh, I'm going to get my commission. I have a buyer. Which buyer? Who is your buyer? Right. Because if you come to me, believe me, how many people I rejected? Hundreds and hundreds of them. They're not buyer, they are joker. I just been to Africa. I talked to the buyer. He's happy. He has the money. I would believe if you're a buyer, send me a formal letter. Introduce yourself who is a buyer. If you're a buyer, show me your business license. Show me your bank statement. Just bank statement that you have the money available standby. We don't steal your money. Just show the bank statement that you have money in your bank account. Remove the bank account number because we don't steal your money. That bank statement is to identify yourself that you're a buyer, to identify yourself, and your importation license, and your passport copy. That is a real buyer. If the broker say, oh, I have a buyer, come to bring the gold, no, we don't believe that. You're going to be arrested. You are going to be accused as a thief. My seller would not come to you. My seller has an office. You have to come to the office. We don't come to the buyer. The buyer has to come to the office. On Wilhelmina's advice that my seller expecting a buyer to come to the office. I will determine what time, what day you will meet my seller after Wilhelmina interview the buyer. That is why we are here. That is why we are online. That is why I put everything on social media. But those people are scared to talk to Wilhelmina. So therefore, you are not really a buyer. Because if I am a buyer, I'm using an example. Her name is Joycey, right? I'm gonna use Joycey's name. Joycey is a seller, and I am the buyer, and I am hungry to buy on her product. I will not tell Joycey to come to me. I will come to Joycey. Joycey, what is your address? What is the name of your office? What is the name of the street? Give me the landmark of your street. Something like that. When I was in Conakry, Guinea, there was a buyer's mandate. He asked me to come and see him. I said, no, I don't come to anyone. You come and see me. He was been stuck in Conakry, Guinea. A Brazilian. Madam, come and see me. No, I'm not going to come and see you. You come and see me. I will buy your dinner. Come and see me. Though he did come to my hotel, I bought him a dinner. He was being scammed by a seller in Conakry, Guinea. And I asked him, why you been scammed? He was offered $32,000. And when he arrived, it's no longer $32,000. Can you imagine that? And when I asked him, you have to be honest yourself. Are you really a buyer? Madam, I am a refinery mandate, and the refinery put money into my account. Can you see that? So I can detect right and there. In the beginning, he said he's a buyer. And on the middle of my conversation, I am a buyer's mandate. Can you see the difference? So he's ashamed to return to his country because he overspent the money. So Mr. Buyer, if you're watching Wilhelmina, you don't need a broker, really, to be honest with you. You need to read the full corporate offer because we are now on social media. You can shop. I have my own virtual page. You can shop. I will invite you, Mr. Buyer. You click on the Gold Worldwide page. Don't trust. Take time to read. Listen to the video. Sit back and relax. And if you think you're qualified, I would believe you're a buyer. But if you're not qualified, at least you learn the knowledge. Wilhelmina is the one who put everything. I done my research. I talked to my seller. What is the requirement? Very simple. You have to pay the gold. This is the gold. Then when you pay bank to bank, you will get assay report. You will get commercial invoice. You get the attestation. You get the ownership. You get the document that the gold is free of illegal activities. You get the custom clearance. Simple as that. That is the procedure. And then you broker. What is the procedure? To me, I start to wonder right on there. Now I have a buyer traveling after 2019. And I told him, I don't pressure you. You come back when you're ready. Madam, I understand your procedure. Well, if you understand my procedure, save more money. Because I am charging any one of you when you need my extra service. I do. Why should I give you extra free service? Why? I already given you free. Online, social media. My procedure is very concise. The seller would not give you like this. Nah. The seller, she can. The seller, any seller. When he said, oh, I'm the buyer, he's excited. I will come and say, no, I'm not going to be excited at all. This is $500,000. I wouldn't be excited to meet anyone. I wouldn't. My question is, we are now on social media. I have to explain here. My question is, when you come and send me a message on WhatsApp, Skype, or Messenger, you're going to say, Wilhelmina, how are you today? And then my question, yes, how can I help you? And do not send me a message, hi, hello, my name is not hi. My name is not hello. You have to be direct. Hi, Wilhelmina, I watch your video. Then I will respond to you. You need to be professional if you're a broker. If you're a buyer, you need to identify yourself. Because believe me, you're going to be rejected. Now, but because everybody is here, Shi and Khan, thank you for watching. Joyce, thank you for watching. Bajidsha, thank you for watching. Joyce, thank you for watching. Now, I just finished having a conference, as I said. It's really very simple if you have money. Very simple. And if you are acting on behalf of your buyer, you identify yourself. Are you a buyer's mandate? Where your buyer coming from? Then when I ask you, okay, let your buyer read the procedure. You don't need to hide it because your buyer is the one who will make a decision, not you do. The buyer will make a decision. So if you said, Madam, how much is my commission? Then that's the problem. So therefore you are soliciting. Just like last night, there was an Indian guy, a young guy. He said, Madam, I have so many buyers in India. I want you to give me money before I'm going to introduce the buyer. And I told him, don't be stupid. Find another job in your country. Social media is an advertising site. However, even though it's an advertising site, I put everything in order for the buyer to understand that what he is looking for. Now, I'm the only person who put very, very extensive procedure. I put everything from A to Z. But if you don't read and you're excited that you have a buyer, to me, I don't believe it. You are just soliciting. You come to my page, you think you're excited that you have a buyer. Which buyer? Because your buyer is going to use you. Yes? And if you're a broker acting on behalf of the buyer, you need to ask your buyer, Mr. Buyer, how long have you been searching for gold? And the buyer your buyer says, 1 year, 6 months, then he has a problem. He's not a buyer. A real buyer doesn't talk too much. Only bullshit buyer talk too much. Excuse my language. The real buyer, when he see the procedure, immediately he will send a letter of intent coming from him. L.O.I means letter of intent to buy coming from the buyer. He gonna state that carats, the purity, the destination, mode of payment. The mode of payment is FOB. No CIF, no LC, no SBLC. Why? Gold is money. Why you gonna ask for credit for? So therefore you don't have the money. Why you gonna ask CIF? So therefore you're going to leverage. Therefore you're going to launder it. CIF stands for cost, insurance, and freight. That is normal, you have to pay for that. But how are you able to pay the gold? So therefore you are going to launder. So you are a thief. You are a launderer. And then you're gonna say, oh, Mr. Seller, I wanna buy gold. I am the buyer, CIF. Oh yeah? You're gonna buy CIF and then you bring it to Dubai. Then you're gonna resell it to your own customer on the highest price. Yeah? And then your buyer pay you as a trader. Then you pay my seller. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. Why you gonna use our gold? Why you gonna leverage it? So therefore you don't have the money. You're a broker to your end buyer. I've been to Dubai. I interview Indian. Indians is bargainer. When I was in Dubai, I interviewed 8 Indians. They cannot even afford to pay their coffee. They charge on my hotel. My gosh. One Pakistani, they wear nice suit, very boastful, and I was just listening to him. I have a picture with him, but I'm not going to publish it so that he would not be embarrassed. You know, Wilhelmina. And you know what I have said? You know what? A woman pay your bills. It's a big insult. It's a big insult. In Australia, you eat, you pay. I eat, I pay. But most Indian staying in Dubai, they're haggard. They're using gold, pretending to be a buyer. They don't have the money. A minute that you are asking me, CIF to me, you are shit. You're really shit buyer. Because in Australia, we don't ask bargain. To buy property, we don't bargain it. Gold is not a bargain. Gold is not banana. I've been in marketing for bloody 36 years. I encounter a lot of scruples, especially in gold business. I learned to be tough. That is why one lady from Philippines, her name is Tamara. There was a guy, a colored guy. He said he is a buyer. His buyer is big. His company big in Dubai. When he was chatting with me, he's not a buyer. He's a bloody broker. And then he said, I know Wilhelmina. And I said to Tamara, Tamara, go back to him. If he know Wilhelmina, why until now he's floating around? He ran away. And he pretend to be a buyer. My gosh, if you're a buyer's mandate, do not lie to this woman, because believe me, I easily detect. My tongue is very sharp. My brain is very quick to identify whether you're a time waster or not. That's why I call you guys online joker broker. If you are a buyer's mandate, so Wilhelmina, I am a buyer's mandate. Please help my buyer. I'm willing to help. Then I'm gonna tell you, okay, go back to your buyer. Show this procedure to your buyer. And if your buyer doesn't meet the criteria, he's not a buyer at all. Believe me. Because a real buyer would not talk too much at all. Only fake buyer talk too much, blah, blah, blah. That is the reason. My seller loves me. You know, when I was in Africa, my seller said, you are very tough, Mrs. Ford. I love you. That's why they call me Mother Gold and Diamond. Because I can detect whether you are a buyer or not. There was another guy, his name is, I think, it's another Indian. Okay. Bloody Indian. Okay, this is another Indian. He's been floating around buying diamond. And he asking for sample. I said, you're a businessman. Why you ask for sample? And then I give him an example. I will come to your shop in India. Do you think you're going to give me a sample? Or maybe you're going to call me the police. You're going to call the police to arrest me because maybe you're going to say I'm a thief. So therefore you are online thieves. And I told this Indian buyer, you've been running around and floating around. To me, you're a joker. You're a fake buyer then. Because if you're a buyer, you should have a copy. You should have a capital. He's buying diamond. He keep on floating around and asking a sample. Diamond is not a sample. Gold is not a sample. Diamond is a money. Can you understand what is girl's best friend? Diamond is a girl's best friend. When you cut that, it's very, very expensive. The gold, when you refine it to make into jewelry, it's very, very expensive. And then you're asking for cheap price. My gosh, to me, you are just a thief. You know, in the old Bible, you're Alibaba, asking cheap price. You are a swindler. You are a thieves. That is why most of the buyer or broker are scared with this woman. Because I'm very straightforward. I'm very frank. Why should I hide my feelings? This is business. Now I'm going to summarize whoever you are. Vijay, Joycey, Karungwa, and Shaheen. Joycey is a very good lady. She's my avid fan. You buy gold to Joycey, go for it. Because Joycey doesn't sell cheap price either. If you want to buy gold to Burkina Faso, talk to Joycey. Because she has a buyer, or she has a seller in Burkina Faso. Because I'm not handling Burkina Faso. I'm handling only Mali, Conakry, and Sierra Leone. If you're a buyer and you want to buy gold in Burkina Faso, talk to Joycey. Joycey can help you, but her seller wouldn't sell cheap price either. He wouldn't. Joycey was telling me. I said to Joycey, that's good. Because gold is money. Even Karungwa's son, he learned from me. Every time I have my update, he come to my page. Before he said to me, he had a hard time dealing with buyer. Now he was been following me on YouTube and on my Facebook. He learned from me. He's also a seller. He sold this 1 kilo $45,000. Isn't it Karungwa? Karungwisi. He doesn't sell cheap price. He buy and sell, and he buy nugget and then he refine it. Of course, he has to sell it. The price, whatever the price of the world market. That's normal. And he learned from me. Can you imagine that? He learned from me. And you guys are joker broker floating around. You don't read. You don't even comprehend. You don't digest it. Kirongwe Sons. He doesn't sell his gold cheap. He sells his gold $45,000. Take it or leave it. Wilhelmina will give you a very good incentives. Provided you convince Wilhelmina. You convince Wilhelmina, then I will help you to get the gold. We have tons of gold. In Mali, we have tons of gold. In Conakry, Guinea, we have tons of gold. In Sierra Leone, we have tons of gold and diamond. But we don't sell tons of gold. You don't have the money. I encourage you to start a trial to build your trust with us. Because we don't know you, but you already met Wilhelmina. Wilhelmina doesn't know you. So who is this guy? Just a moment. Who's sending? Just bear with me. Okay. So another. These people are sending me, asking me buyer. Holy dolly. I am not an agency. Just a moment, someone sending me a message. I need a buyer. See? Who is this? He said, I need a buyer. I'm not an agency. Where are you coming from? Just bear with me. I'm going to call this guy. So that he, my gosh, these people, they ask for buyer. I have my own seller. We are a seller, not a buyer. Who is this guy? I'm going to call this guy. He doesn't know how to introduce himself. Oh, she's a lady. A picture. Yeah. Good evening. Who is this?
Doing fine. How are you?
It's good. Where are you coming from, my sweetheart, my love?
Pardon?
Where are you coming from?
Uganda.
Okay, what's your name?
I'm called Bridget Marion Bierhanga.
Okay, Bridget, you sent me a lot of picture of gold. Tons of gold.
Yeah.
Where the gold coming from? Is that coming from Congo, is it?
Yeah, we get it from Congo.
Wow, you know Congo is a UN embargo, you must remember.
Yeah, I know, but that's where we get it from.
Well, you need to change the ownership then in Nairobi. You are in Nairobi, right?
We can put it also in Nairobi. We can transfer it to Nairobi and then you get it from there.
Right now, where are you right now?
Now I'm in Uganda.
Oh, you're in Uganda, I see. My dear, I don't give buyer because I am the seller's mandate. I'm the one who do the marketing on behalf of the buyer. So I'm not.
Yes.
So what you have to do, you market the gold properly because we are now on social media.
Yes.
How did you find Wilhelmina in the beginning?
Okay.
How did you find Wilhelmina? How did you find my name and my WhatsApp number?
Yes, I was on Facebook, and then I saw the posts there because you were looking for someone who took $1 million, a bad seller, and did not afford to pay you that gold. So that's how I got your number.
Yeah, my seller has been scammed.
My
seller has been scammed. Yeah. That is the reason why I put everything online, because I want to correct the bad image of Africa. I'm not African, I'm from Australia. But I've been to Africa. I had my transaction successful there. So I'm helping African to remove the bad negative publicity. So in Africa, there are two kinds of people, good and bad. Buyers are also good and bad. So unfortunately,
no, for me, what I have is real one, not the bad, not the good. But for us, we have a real one. Any information you want to know about it, I can send it to you.
I see.
It is real, and we are authorized. Yeah.
But unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to help you because I am obligated. That's why I put everything online, because I work for the company. I work for the seller. So Yeah, I am the
Okay.
office. I am the extension. Yes. I'm the one who
Oh,
screen the buyer. I'm the one. I don't give buyers.
okay.
Win the buyer
Mm.
because I am on YouTube and on Facebook. And I think people misunderstood my marketing. I am a marketing consultant of the company, and I market diamond
Okay.
and gold. So I put everything online in order for the buyer to read what are necessary documents they need. So I'm the one who will say yes or no.
Okay.
I'm the one.
Oh, good. I like that.
Yeah. So when the buyer come to me, I interview the buyer, and then my question is very simple, Bridget. I'm gonna ask, how did you
Yes.
found me on Facebook? Did you read? Not really. Okay, go back and read. Simple as that. Now, when you read on Facebook, what
Okay.
did you learn out of that, Bridget?
Really, I love that you're an open person, because that, according to what you post and everything, you're too open and you're trustworthy. That's what I can say. Because after reading all of that, I managed to go on YouTube and I found you there. That means I was approaching the right person I want. Because this market, we find a lot of thieves that come and take, and even they don't come back. So that's why I wanted to contact you and get in touch with you.
You know what, Bridget, may I advise you?
Yeah.
Africa is 98% gold produced in Africa, but there are so many thieves. Most of the foreigners, they come to Africa, they are using gold to launder it. So you have to be careful dealing with the foreigner as well, because in this world there are two kinds of people, good and bad. Foreigners are thieves. Excuse me, I'm a foreigner, but I'm not thieves.
Yeah, I understand.
They're Alibaba.
I understand, not all.
So I'm a foreigner. I went to Africa because my seller asked me to come to Africa in order to see what's going on in Africa. Yes, there is good and bad in Africa. Yes, there's also good and bad of buyers. Now, there are two kinds of buyer in this world, Bridget. Affluent buyer and cheap buyer. Affluent buyer, he will read. Cheap buyer, he wouldn't read. He's gonna blah blah blah. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I think you read.
I understand you.
I think thank you very much for finding me on YouTube and Facebook, and I hope you learn out of that, and then you apply, then you follow. The golden rules are the same, Bridget. Are the same.
Okay.
You need to be transparent as well, right? I am advising you.
Yes.
I'm not supposed to advise, but I would like to share, because gold is money. You cannot just give away your gold.
I understand you, because I've been doing everything that I've been seeing, what you post and everything. That's why I ended up getting your number, because really a lot have cheated. At least even if I'm having your advice, it is enough.
Okay. So don't believe on buyers. This is one thing you have to ask. You are in Uganda or whatever. You ask the buyer how long you've been searching for gold. How are you able to pay? And if the buyer will say, I will pay taxes, to me, he's not a buyer. Why are you gonna pay taxes? You have to pay the gold plus tax. Yeah. Okay. The buyer has to pay the gold plus tax. So it's up to you to absorb. It's up to you to waive the tax. It's up to you.
No, it's okay. Me, I'll be talking to you. I'll be still in touch with you. I'm not going to remove your number. I'll be talking to you and asking some advice from you. Yeah, I won't leave you just like that.
So I'm not a babysitter here. I am a seller's mandate. I'm selling gold. We are the seller. I'm not giving away. I'm not giving buyer, because we need the buyer. That's why the buyer come to Wilhelmina, because we are the seller. We have the gold and we have diamond.
Okay.
Yes. So I think you misunderstood what you're reading. Did you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I did.
So what is your
Okay.
qualification, by the way? What did you finish? What is your degree? You finish university or what?
Yeah, I finished university myself. I'm a pharmacist.
Oh, you're a pharmacist.
professionally.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And why
Yeah.
you are involved with gold?
Really, I like it. I think it became a quick business more than the other one because
I see.
you sit and wait for money, and money is not coming. That's why you end up going into other things, even if you went to school for another thing.
I see. You know, I finished Bachelor of Science in Social Work, but no one taught me. And you would never learn this marketing at school. You have to learn it hands-on. But because I've been in sales for 36 years, buying and selling exactly the same. You have to pay for it.
Wow, 36?
Yeah, I've been in real estate here in Australia. I sell a lot. I sell mobile phone, I sell funeral arrangement, I sell properties. So buying and selling exactly the same. There's no difference. Buying gold exactly the same. You have to pay for it. Yeah.
Okay, I understand you now.
You understand now? So next time, you keep on reading and digest it properly, comprehend it, and I hope you would not be offended with my language. You learn and digest it properly, and you will learn. Everybody's learning. I am the only person who brought this online. So you learn from University of Hard Knocks from Wilhelmina.
Okay. All right.
All right. Bridget, thank you very much.
Okay.
You must remember you come in. You must remember you came in, and I'm on live at the moment. I'm live on Facebook.
Okay.
So our conversation is yes. Our conversation is live.
So
You're gonna, everybody can hear it. Everybody can hear. Everybody can hear our conversation. So my advice to you: do not believe on buyer. If the buyer cannot afford to buy the gold, he is not a buyer. That's my advice to you.
Okay.
All right? All right. Thanks, Bridget.
Okay,
thank you very much. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, thank you, dear. Okay.
See, buyer come to me. She thought that I can give her buyer now. We are the seller. We have the gold. We have the diamond for sale. That is why my Bridget. That is why I put everything online. If you're a seller, learn out of my posting because this is real. The procedure is real. Everybody has to buy, everybody has to pay, bank to bank. Do not cut corner because you're gonna be accused as a money laundering. Thank you so much. I was sweet to hear from you. See, Bridget was saying, thank you so much. So this is how it goes. But anyway, I have to exit. Joycey, thank you for coming. Shaheen. Okay, where is this Shaheen coming from? I'm gonna have a look. Okay. Shaheen Jara. I'm gonna have a look. Okay. Jana Parok. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna have a look. Sonda Paraja, thank you for watching. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to exit, guys. I'm gonna grab my coffee. Today is Sunday. I work 7 days a week. When someone asks me a question, right and there, I'm live. This is for everyone. Mr. Buyer, we are here to supply you. Just read the procedure that I have on my virtual page. Take time to listen to the video, and we are not forcing you to buy because gold is money you're buying, and you need to digest it properly what you are reading. And when you are ready, Mr. Buyer, just send me a formal letter of intent to buy, then we can supply gold. We have tons of gold. Okay, thank you very much. Have a pleasant good evening.